Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, before we proceed, I also publish on Rumble. I'm on the socials here if you want to follow up, and extra support on Patreon. So let's get started. Not much to talk about, it's weekend basically, but still we have a little bit more details regarding the 7900 Golden Rabbit edition. I've been checking this one. We got the free AIBs confirmed, Sapphire, PowerColor, or even SFX. Their sites on they are Chinese because it's a launch on the Chinese market. They are all in Chinese, and supposedly they will launch these GPUs on system integrators again. Seems to be a trend on AMD, like basically China exclusive market, like this 7500F CPU also will go globally, but only on system integrators. This GPU overall, it's not a bad GPU. The only issue is it's incorrectly named. This is supposedly, I think in terms of performance, I think it justifies the naming of 7800 XTX or something like that. You can call it the Golden Rabbit Edition for the Chinese market, and for the international market, you can get it like an XT or even like an XTX by the fact that he has almost the same CUDA cores than the XT version, the 7900 XT. It's almost on par with it. I don't think this should be called 7900. It starts not compensate in terms of marketing and the fact that and the price itself. I think it's mainly to justify the price they are launching, $650 give or take. On China, because it's AIBs, they are 770, sorry. Which is the Sapphire Nitro Plus. Usually it's the more expensive ones, and the Red Devil PowerColor Red Devil version also usually it's a little bit more expensive, but they are usually overclocked already. Again, this GPU should be called the 7800 XT, XTX, whatever you want to call it, as a variant, and should be launched at maximum $600 in terms of MSRP. I think it will be a better step here. All these steps that in this generation of GPUs just give me the impression that AMD just following the steps of NVIDIA and keeping how they been lately going regarding like market share and mind share here. I don't think this is a good move, that they could be a little bit more aggressive. We saw that like in the, especially on the North American market, the last gen and some of the aggressive pricing they were doing regarding the 7900 XT and XTX versions, and especially on the last gen versions, the 6000 ones, they were doing a lot of aggressive ones, and the sales start ramping up because they were good deals by the price that they were, especially compared with the MSRP launch price. But they are stabilizing, and from what I understand, they will start to like correct themselves, so they're going to be a little bit more. I think some of the retailers have like a fine-tuning, they have a sweet spot on the price. They think that the cards will continue to sell well, but yeah, this one, it's not a DOA, because the card itself, it's pretty decent. In terms of comparing with the MSRP, of course, it's way cheaper than the 7900 XT. The XT version was launched with $900. This one is launching $650. It makes sense if you just compare it with MSRP, but the current market price, I think it dictates the 7900 XT to be around $700, give or take, and this one should be around $600 or a little bit lower, to basically replace the 6800 XT, which is the one they compared a lot regarding uplifting performance. And this, it's basically an 4040p, it's basically on par with the 4070 non-TI version, and it's a little bit better on 4K because it has more memory, VRAM, and also memory bandwidth. It's way better than the 4070, which is only have 12 gigabytes of VRAM and almost half of the memory bandwidth. But yeah, it is what it is. We just hope that they start. They need to be a little bit more aggressive. I don't know if they are waiting for Intel to make a huge move and they start losing market share to then run and try to correct the market. But yeah, not the best move here for sure. They could be doing a lot of better moves to be more competitive and aggressive regarding NVIDIA, because NVIDIA need to be taught a lesson per se, mainly because of how they are dealing with customers at this point in time. Regarding hardware, this is what I got. It's just an extra information here. We got some good gaming news. I covered this one at the time, Phantom Blade Zero. This is from game now. From the last PlayStation showcase. It's one of those games that are coming also to PC that I watched that PlayStation showcase, and this caught my attention. In terms of footage, we still have the same footage. This announcement trailer, very, very interesting. Especially the setting, I've got some points here from the interview that I did. The only thing that I might be a little bit nitpicky on the trailer itself, it's the camera angle. I think it's a little bit too close on the character for an action one. So I don't know if it is for the fact that you might feel a little bit claustrophobic on the action itself. But you basically the FOV combined with the fact that the camera is a little bit close to the character, you feel a little bit more focused on enemy to enemy combat, so you don't have like your surroundings, you don't have awareness of your surroundings that much. But the things that caught my eye regarding this interview is basically how will the setting differ from other Chinese fantasy theme games like Bat Myth Wukong, which supposedly comes 2024, I think. Wulong Fallen Dynasty, it's already come out, and Sword and Fairy. I'm not sure about this game. I have to check out. Basically, the game it's based on Chinese wuxia culture, but it's original fictional world, so it's not based on that part of history of China. So it has some. It's more about the action itself and the combat and a little bit of that almost Crouchy Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of combat, very fluid, very mystical there, with some sprinkles of wuxia culture there. And basically they continue, we didn't develop our creation based on any classical Chinese novels, and it's certainly not a style you've seen before. Instead, we have defined a unique style of called Kung Fu Punk, which is interesting catch term here, which is basically targeting international audiences. And then they continue, can you discuss your main inspirations? There are many sources of inspirations, including traditional, Chinese wuxia novels, 70s to 90s Hong Kong films, Japanese manga as Vagabond, and then here Berserk and Claymore. I watched the animes. I never managed to get around the manga, the Berserk itself. It's a very excellent manga, and especially the anime, the first series, the 26 episode, and then the Golden Arc one that they made 3 movies, it's especially good also. The rest not so much, mainly because of the animation, and I think they take a little bit of liberties regarding the story and how the character progression is, and they took a little bit of liberties there, so I didn't find that much interesting. And Claymore, I watched the anime only. I usually cannot manage to get around the manga stuff, but the anime I can get around here and there. And Claymore is a very good and interesting anime that I watched. And basically, like the main takeaway, it's like the concept of the killer who betrayed this organization, being hunted down by former colleagues, and somewhat reminiscent of John Wick, which is also a very good action franchise here. In terms of game, Ninja Gaiden, Sekiro, and also Neon are provided with a lot of inspiration. This is all good so far. We will see how it proceeds. Boss battles supposedly are one of the game's highlights. They're saying that also there are going to be some secret bosses concealed in the deepest corners of the dungeons, so we got some dungeons. I'm not sure if it's going to be an approach of open world, even though they want it to be a more narrative driven kind of action game. But yeah, we will see how it goes. They continue, we adopt to the most traditional game design approach, avoiding automated mass production. Instead, we meticulously handcraft each intense battle ensuring they are thoughtful, designed, and tailored to provide players with a challenging and rewarding experience. They are a small team, that's why they are being asking these questions. They are a company so far more focused on mobile games, but they are frustrated with the fact that of how the production and development of mobile games and the follow-up on supporting the game, they think it's very frustrating. They talk about this in the interview. It's something that it's not worth just go around there, because mobile games not my thing. Regarding the story and multiplayer thing, yes, the story cannot be experienced cooperatively. Oh my god. I hope it is a very pure narrative immersive journey. We will design multiplayer experience for some end-game content. So basically what I can perceive here is like the story campaign, it's solo stuff, because it's supposedly an handcrafted experience here, and then for endgame stuff, I don't know what they are playing here, you can maybe do some PvP stuff. I'm not sure of going or have some similar to Diablo's, how they approach their thing with endgame, which you go to some random maps, I don't know, and then you can encounter and go PvP, VE, something like that. Nothing is set on stone, but we will see. Then a little bit on Unreal Engine. Is there to enable small teams like this developer team here to create large-scale games, or at very least significantly reduce the gap between small and large studios. And mainly from what I understood, they can easily achieve stunning visual without the need for large tech team to build the rendering framework from scratch, which is, I didn't know this, which is generally the most expensive and high risk facing in-game development. Gives me the impression this is like the huge step, the higher risk and sometimes not, and sometimes low reward phase of the thing, which is creating the framework, which I think it has to do with the asset generation and all that stuff. It can be very intensive, and also in terms of crunching thing. Some studios pass through, because I think Unreal Engine is very good because you can go for the gameplay and then layer the things in terms of assets that you can put it. At least I think it's how it works to a certain degree. But yeah, so that's why we are going to see a lot of Unreal Engine 5 games, because it's more easier. You don't spend a lot of resources with this framework regarding rendering stuff and asset designing. I think it's and we have the AI stuff also, if you need to go about that field there in terms of like asset creation and randomization. It's also going to allow support for Lumen and Nanite. Nanite is the thing that in terms of level of detail stuff here. So regardless if you get very far, the foliage doesn't seem pixelated. It continues to maintain itself very detailed, and the more you zoom in, the Nanite software program, the plugin, let's call it, will maintain the level of detail of the assets itself. It's supposedly going to support ray tracing of PS5 and of course PC. And basically, the final quote here: even for the most experienced team, completing a project like this will take several years. Not to mention our team are relatively young. We cannot yet estimate the exact time of project completion, but we are trying to showcase some of the latest achievements during different stages of development. We hope everyone can continue to follow our progress and stay tuned. So basically there is no definitive, not even a year for the launch of this game, but from what we got here, which is basically the trailer, it seems pretty good. We got some already good stuff here. We hope it will continue. And of course this news of gaming, it's from the China Joy 2023 festival is coming up. That's where they announced the 7900 GRE, and we're going to see a lot of news from Chinese or Asian developers here. Continue with that trend, Factor Life did a catch-up with 3 interesting new action RPGs announced, and I will for sure, if there is a Steam page, I will keep an eye on it and wishlist it, and keep on track with these ones. One of these is the Godslayer. We only have for this one concept art. It's made by Petia Games. It's supposedly is going to get some stealth elements in the mix. with some images showing the character crouching in the grass to hide from unbeknownst enemies. So action RPG, there is only concept art. This is one of the images. Seems interesting. Let's see how it goes. The Wind's Rising from TI Games. Supposedly it's a witch world following a girl who leaves a peaceful village to go on a great adventures. She stumbles upon a monster cub, which causes trouble for the whole kingdom. Seems very Ghibli inspired thing here. Seems interesting. From again, we only have like a teaser, which is there is 20 seconds of teaser, so it doesn't basically show anything. Just show this part here. And lastly, we got Daba, Lens of the Water Scar. Basically, follows a world that is inhabited by humanoid clay puppets. Interesting. Players will uncover the world story by defeating enemies and seeking answers. Supposedly, got some inspiration from Dark Souls. A closer look of this game will be happening tomorrow. During China Joy 2023, so this is been announced. Concept art, again, concept art is concept art, but it seems interesting. At least the marketing phrases they are putting here seems pretty good. I will keep an eye on this and let you know if there is any updates worth mentioning. Now, in terms of software stuff, Adrenalin, oh my god, Adrenalin, this version here supposedly marks the return of AMD drivers. They say the latest site commits identity theft on its parent GPU and can disconnect internal devices. What they call it here, identity theft, it's basically it rebrands the GPU on the system information. This is taking place more on laptop stuff or mobile GPUs here. I think the fact that he has like slower performances is because I think it's wrongly identifying the GPUs and basically just keeps the settings of the performance from that identified GPU from what I understood. There is, I didn't see any issues with the 7000 series, so the desktop versions. I think it has some performance uplifts in some games. But yeah, it's not good, at least for the AMD ones. I hope that they fix this as soon as possible. Again, this is like one case in. They've been very good on launching the driver stuff, and the software is very solid from what I saw from other gamers and like Underwear Unbox and Gamer Nexus. And sometimes they visit that software. Even J2Sense, I think, did like a guide on the software from Adrenalin, like how you can even screen record, the settings for overclocking the GPUs, everything the software has very good. You can even you don't even have to have an account, so you don't have to give information. Seems pretty solid from what I saw. And lastly, we got an interesting one. Water-soluble PCBs are being developed here. This is PCB dissolved basically in water. This is how it's supposed to go. Interesting. Seems since our electronics are not supposed to get any water on them, seems they are. This is not on mass marketing, of course. This is still in experiences and trying to tweak to see what kind of materials they can do better with, but basically it's a solution which I think to combat e-waste, which is huge issue that we have regarding environmental issues, mainly because the PCBs usually they have like copper traces, gold traces for the context and everything, and the fact that the PCBs are made on fiberglass, it's not recyclable material. And if you think about it, just the electronics that you have on your home, on your appliances, even your PCs, like a printer, or even in your car, like new cars, they have a lot of electronics here. And the fact that from the PCBs alone, that the fact that you cannot basically retrieve any materials there, the fact that if this goes well, I think this is like a polymer, organic polymer of some sorts. When it goes in hot water, so it's not any like temperature water. When it goes in hot water, it seems that it starts to dissolve itself. I'm not sure how they are going to remove this because it's, for example, if you have a few components damaged in a PCB, I'm not sure how you can remove them without putting water on the components themselves, but supposedly there is a solution here. And retrieve the materials, for example, those copper traces that can be melted and reused again, I suppose. Also the gold stuff. I think it's an interesting solution. We'll see how it develops. I hope it develops quickly and it's like safe to use and on par in terms of performance as the PCBs that we have here. It's a curiosity here to see this kind of technologies, and we'll see how it goes. For now, let's wrap up with some gaming deals. We got Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, the remastered version. So this is the first game remastered. It's 80% off. I think it's a well worth title here. It ends by the end of the month, so around 2 days to get on this deal here. The second game, it's not on a deal. I don't know why. I think a few weeks or a few days ago, the second one was on promo, and this one was not. So that's it. I love the animation style, and it's a JRPG basically with an adventure, and I think it's a well worth game to play out. Also, we got Marvel Midnight Suns. It's still on deal, 60% off this time. Usually it's around 50 to 40%. Now it's more than half, 60%. I think the Legendary Edition, it's a good one because it adds the DLC, especially the characters and their associated missions, and of course their decks. And I watched the Christopher Odd Dark Hunter Path on this game. I enjoy it very much. This is from Firaxis, which is the same guys from XCOM. The gameplay loop is very addicting, and of course it's one of those, if you like this XCOM-y kind of gameplay, I think it's well worth it. Also, we have Children of Morta, ends to 2nd of August, 75% off, and I think it compensates the complete bundle also, 73, so around $7. It's not that much, and it's got extra content here, roguelite, isometric view, pixel art, but it's like a family of hunters to keep away the darkness aside, and then the darkness comes around. It's like the high view, and of course it's roguelite because you have like permanent upgrades for each character, and you unlock the characters as you go. A very good one. Also, we continue with Dying Light 2 Stay Human. They have been doing a lot of launching a lot of as you can see, the event Summer of Horrors. They've been doing a lot of stuff here. It's one of those studios that I enjoy very much because even the first game had like support for 5 years. After the game was launched, they were launching new stuff, and I think it's well worth supporting this kind of developers that continue to support and improve on the game. So that's why I support the Ultimate Edition, 30% off. It's got a lot of content here for the game itself, and it's $70. So basically, the price of a base game for the full DLC stuff here. It's got a lot of stuff here regarding story and like skins and weapons and all that stuff. So around 21. Come on. Oh my god. Sorry, made a mistake here. I wanted to check the... Give me a second. Oh, my laptop is so quick here on these kind of things. So you got, as you can see, 21. You got a lot of stuff here to go around and play this game. It's one of the games I would like to play in the near future. Then we got Outer Worlds. I know. The Enhanced Edition, it's not here. This is like the base game, so without being the remaster per se. It's an excellent game. The Spacer's Choice Edition upgrade, I don't think it's worth it at the moment, because I think it still have some performance issues here and there. I just hope they just patch that thing, because it got better graphics overall, but in terms of performance it doesn't compensate still. But you got some DLC here. I think it's well worth it. This is from Tim Kane kind of games. He was involved in the game. It's one of those guys that I usually watch because I find it interesting his takes on gaming industry, and it's an overall positive guy. But yeah, till 10th of August, 34% off. I think it's a good game. It's one of those that I like to try out as soon as possible. Hunt Showdown, I'm not... if you like co-op games, This is very interesting, and it's not my thing, but it's one of those that they be putting out content and challenges and everything. I think it's a decent game from what I see. It's 60% off, so $15 for the base game, and then if you enjoy it, I think you can go for the upgrade stuff here. It's not those games that it's for me, but I find it interesting what they did here regarding the monster hunting and how you have to work out with other players to kill the monster, but then you have the betrayal system there. It's very interesting. And finally, we got Half-Life 2. It's not in promotion. It's one of those games that I love. I played like 5 times when it came out. I bought the orange box at the time, before I even have like a Steam account. I know I played this game like 5 times in a row. And if you want, you can buy the orange box. It has like the other episodes also. But yeah, just the base game itself, it's well worth buying, and at least to try out, and you will see like the physics stuff that was revolutionary at the time. It's basically what every first-person shooter have at the moment. Excellent story, and the combat stuff is very, very, very good. And basically this is it, guys. I'm going to wrap up with my GoGetFundMe for me to upgrade my PC to get more content for my private clients and start doing some video stuff for them, adding to the writing content that I've been doing, and in my free spare time doing the daily videos with better quality, resume my gameplay series, doing some deep dives with some scripted content, and possibly doing some live streams in the near future. And with all that said, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, Kunamy Master out.